Giovanni Bellini is a Venetian painter and he paints with an understanding of light. He really captures the subject matter in this particular painting. This is St. Francis, and this is titled St. Francis in the Desert, or sometimes St. Francis in Ecstasy. This painting is telling the life story of St. Francis. He wrote the Canticle of the Sun, which is basically a hymn or a song, a prayer, a poem that is praising God. And in this painting and in the Canticle of the Sun, he is praising God through nature. He is bathed in this warm, beautiful light that is radiating, coming from off of the canvas on the left and bathing him in this warm light. Let's talk about a few of the things that we see in this particular painting. So notice that St. Francis is here in the foreground, and then in the right-hand side of the foreground is his study area. St. Francis has decided to renounce his entire livelihood, his whole family. His family were cloth merchants from Assisi, and he has chosen to live basically as a hermit, lives in isolation, and dedicates himself solely to God. We can see that Bellini has contrasted this particular lifestyle with a city in the background. So notice in the top left-hand corner is what Assisi might look like, and he's contrasting that with the desert, the isolation of the desert and this rocky landscape. This is an unusual landscape. It's not really Italy. The back left area, however, does kind of look like Italy, but this rocky desert is not an Italian landscape. Notice Francis was a friend of animals, so if you take your time to kind of move around this painting, you'll notice some details that you don't notice at first glance. We see that there's a donkey grazing here. There's also a heron that's in the left area. There's a worker in the field that's in the far background. There is a skull on St. Francis's desk and a book and his shoes he's taken off to worship God. The main subject matter with this painting is light. This is early morning light that Bellini pushes to the forefront. Light is bringing life. It is breathing life into the earth as it is awakening for the morning. We can kind of sum up this painting. What is it saying? Why are we talking about this painting? What's the main intention? And it is saying that I can pray. I can pray to God by myself in nature. I don't have to make confession to a priest. It humanizes St. Francis. It brings rocks and nature to the forefront as a way to know God. And the Word of God actually says that all of earth praises him. It is an image of belief. It is a new way of speaking. Bellini is using light to speak to us. It is telling the story of St. Francis. He's casting off wealth for a life of deprivation, and we can look on and think about the character of St. Francis.